scared to move on me.
Exactly.
Just console players on all this map, but they're not good at all. See, you want me to end it so bad.
Because I didn't even do a toxic, you know, like.
And then you're just gonna go back to. Alright, I'm playing you.
End it.
Wow! You be so annoying to tell me to end it. If it did, I end it and you leave. I'm bad. You wonder why I'm not playing with you no more. Yeah, I'm talking to BJ. Just don't join me no more, BJ. They even know why I play with them, dude.
Everybody. Everybody is so toxic to renegades.
Okay, maybe they're not eating more, you know? Maybe you're pistol. Give him a fishy. Follow me, I got you. He's being a little sketchy, what do you think? He's trying to edit me out. What do you mean? Okay, Lydia, I'm on to you. Okay, oh,
everybody is so
Guess where I am? Ryan. I need another one. Can I be honest with you? Of course. This is starting to get a little awkward. Why? This is like your third cleaning in 3 weeks. You're supposed to get them once every 6 months. I just really like clean teeth. Guess where I am? Ryan. I need another one. Can I be honest with you? Of course. This is starting to get a little awkward. Why? This is like your third cleaning in 3 weeks. You're supposed to get them once every 6 months. I just really like clean teeth. Guess where I am? Ryan.
Oh my god. Oh, West Ping, I forgot. Oh my fucking lord. Holy shit, I'm insane. Holy fuck balls. That's an actually fuck balls moment. It's not fuck boss, bro. It's fuck balls, you dumbass. The second motherfucker that got it mixed. Which I low-key might take this seriously. I don't know. I feel like I can win, bro. I low-key might take this like really seriously. I know you guys want blue party, but what if I win this? It's a blue makeshift, bro. Why would I want a blue makeshift? Look at my fucking guns, you dumbass. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Blue party, please? Yeah, but like, bro, winning this would be like low-key like entertaining and fun. And in between games I could watch. I don't know. FNCS is fun, but I look on because dude, what if I get like nuts on this shit? Sorry. Oh, blue makeshift AR, my fault. It's whatever. What the fuck? Where my boy looking, man? Oh, scratching my butthole. Oh my god, dude. I'm crazy right now. Dude. I might just play this out and win it, bro. Fuck immune party.
Time to go to work. Hey, neighbor.
Hey, Jake, sent you an invite.
Like a good neighbor, State Farmers there.
Me and Austin going ahead and doubling down on Oth, Josie, and BBG Head Clicker, who is also known as Calculator. Now, if you guys remember, Qualifier 1, I actually chose this trio to go ahead and take it all. You know, I'm not going to say they disappointed me, but they didn't get the result that I was expecting. So I'm going to go ahead and double down on these guys, and I really think that they can, you know, take it away today. I've got some little bit of information on them. I think they're going to be at an uncontested steamy stack there. They're going to be landing there, so they should have a really good run today, and I'm really looking forward to see how they play.
My
I can't wait to see what. I mean, you said about Calc as well. I love that you picked them on week 1, and we're still here 3 weeks later, David. I thought you knew what we were talking about. I mean, come on. Wow.
He gets the predictions right one time, Vivid, last week, and this is. I told you it was gonna happen.
I love Vivid.
I think we all do. Now, Fortnite fam, we'll be here breaking down all of the action in between games, but we gotta introduce you to our casters. It's everybody's favorite dynamic duo, Monster Deface and Aussie Antics. Boys, take it away. Let's kick things off. Kick things off we will, and here we are, 6 games of Fortnite in front of us. We're back for another weekend here, Aussie. I mean, they set the stage. We got to talk about some predictions, and you know, things are really starting to cut down now. A lot of teams have moved on, and I think most importantly, the way we want to set this up here is this is the last opportunity now.
It's the last chance. We looked at some teams in there that need to have good performances to get up on the series leaderboard to get into the semifinals, but we want to focus today who's going to be going straight through into the finals, because that's it, that big top 3. And this week was by far the hardest to pick as well. I love the confidence out of Vivid there. I'm very confident in our pick as well, but this was the toughest it's been for me. I've been doing pretty well on the predictions, but if you look at the leaderboard today, there's going to be a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, and that's just a result of how this works, how the qualification works. We've already taken out a lot of those top teams, but there's some big names here who can really sneak up, and we've got some interesting ones in there as well. I know the guys just talked about it. We've got DC, Sway, and Scrubs. Now that is just a team you've definitely heard of, but maybe not normally in a competitive sense, usually more in like a creative sense.
Yeah, listen, and they have the pressure on them, right? They have to get past the halfway mark, roughly, if they want to be secured in here today. So that's a lot of pressure. We've seen what can happen, especially when teams decide to, I guess, publicly announce their draw spot and take on contention. Ozzy, you know a little bit more about where they're landing, so let the people at home know what to expect here.
Yeah, I mean, we think we've got Sway's team going Pleasant Park, which looks uncontested. You and me were talking about it. I like that. Like, normally when teams post on socials where they're dropping it, yeah, it gives people more information. You think, why keep it a secret? But this is a scary team. If nothing else, and I actually do think Sway, Scrubs, and DC could have a really good performance today, but if nothing else, you know they're going to be one of the last teams on the entire map that you want to fight on Spawn. Their mechanics are top, like above top tier. Like, these guys are on another level when it comes to fighting mechanics. It's the last team I'd want to drop on, so I don't know, we'll have to see. We're jumping into game number 1. We'll get a map shot hopefully soon. We'll get to see where these teams are positioning, and if they have uncontested Pleasant, we could be in for a very interesting day on their part.
Even though you waste all your points.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You give that team some loot, and all of a
He
sudden
wasted 2,000 of my points.
average
Not the
individuals,
game.
like you said. This is the squad that is playing with nothing to lose, no fear. Other than if they just play their game, get a couple elims, they'll do better than everyone else down at the bottom. And look, it seems like they are actually uncontested. That tweet was alone to push everyone off of the drop spot and earn the respect, right, of the lobby. That's how things can really unfold here. And unfortunately, I'm looking at Mr. Meadows right now. This is where my pick is at, and yes, exactly. Just on time, Carrie, Chat, and Pam are actually being contested right now.
You want to know one of the best trios? I feel like in FNCS.
They were so close, just outside
hello?
of qualifying, 4 points off where they left off. And honestly, if there's a week to fall, it's now, right? By the time you get to semi, and especially in grand finals, I'm hoping they don't drop here because we know who's landing here in finals, right? We have Scented, Edgy Commandment, so this is a story that we're kind of leading into for the big final stage.
Yeah, I mean, and they also coming off a 3rd place yesterday in round 3. Like, they're coming in hot. They are looking good, and I think they do have more experience here at Misty Meadows. Like you just touched on, it's unfortunate if they do make it all the way to finals. There is a definite chance they're going up against Scented, Edgy Commandment, because coming 2nd place last FNCS, we know they're already there in the finals waiting for them, but they know this drop spot. As far as this fight today, if it even breaks into a fight, quite often Misty Meadows being so delineated down the middle by that river, a lot of the times teams will just split it east to west and then rotate. If they do fight though, I like their chances, but here's another spawn fight, and it's 2 very different names. Last week, this is all the story of Cliff Bizzlebooger against Gabe Tahi Sprite Sands, Tahi Sands. Everyone's going crazy about it. Both those teams did not make it what is going to look like a very, very similar fight, though. Again, they're splitting it east to west, but Sweaty Sands almost always breaks out into a fight. Never do people rotate. So we'll have to see how these guys play it. And it's two very, I want to say, underrated teams. There's not a lot to say about these teams, but that's the best part. They get to tell their story now. I was watching Team Zuck yesterday. They actually got pushed by Clicks, Bizzle, and Booger over at Coral Castle and managed to wipe them up. It was pretty interesting. So they can definitely hold their own, but we'll see what they can do in the first game. But maybe the other team's a bit scared of them.
And I mean, listen, I agree. There's good reason to take a drop spot when the major popular teams are not there, right? Crip, Sean, and company, they've been in these final settings week after week. So I like that we're seeing flexibility out of them. I like that they're, I guess, changing up the narrative here, saying, hey, listen, the big boys aren't in town right now. These elite trios did not make it all the way through. Let's take advantage. Let's take their drop spot. We can play this. And they're doing it. And that's why they're not engaging here. They're not as comfortable as some of the other teams, so they're okay with getting half the loot. We'll see if that ends up punishing them in the long run, though. You do want to stick to drops that you can honestly win outright. Other than taking a contested. Here's Illis, Blake, and Furious, though, getting very comfortable right now. All these POIs right now. Game 1, super slow. Only a single player has been eliminated. Full 33 teams still up right now.
That's crazy, and that was a crazy fight to look in at as well. I like this strategy. We've seen this time and time again. This is mine and Vivid's pick. Calc, Joji, and Oz. When you're wondering, all right, Oz, you guys were talking about them. Where they drop it? They're dropping steamy stacks, but what you've seen here is they do this often. The way the teams make this drop work, and I believe that was Sticks they just took out. A lot of teams do this triple house split, and they take kind of the gas station and the loot near Orchard, but it leaves you incredibly split. Where normally on a split drop, you're okay. There's not a lot of mobility in the game right now. The only way to get to someone quickly is a vehicle. You can hear it coming. But no, not with those stacks. Those stacks are one of the only spots on the map that give you mobility. So Calc, Joji, and Oz often do this. They go straight out of the stacks. They triple land on whoever it is. They get free Storm Surge and a free elimination. That's a really good start for them. As we swing back over to Pleasant Park, and we were correct, Monster. Our creative team do have Pleasant Park uncontested. And I mean, before I do that too much, before I coin them as the creative team, as that's what we know, they have some very notable placements. Sway and Scrubs particularly are coming just off the back of a 6th place in the last Trio Cash Cup, playing with Loot Boy Pink, which is an EU pro. Big DC, awesome at DC, obviously having a top 3 in FNCS finals on console. I'm so excited to see what they do today.
Yeah, that team overall is definitely a sleeper one to look out for. Just a lot of reputation there, but hold up, Furious has got a reputation to hold as well. This year, FNCS Invitational Champion popping off there when it matters most, winning his gunfights. He is going to be able to pick up Illis here. What do you think about this trio? Blake, Furious, and Illis banding, getting together. This is scary. We have 2 extra players now pairing up with one another, and Blake kind of filling in the mold here. Sort of last minute, right? They're just getting together.
Yeah, they've only been together recently as well. Illiston, Blake, and Furious, actually all 3 of them known to be jumping around teams a lot, but very scary team. If nothing else, this again is one of the scariest teams on the map to be dropping on. I know I've said that about a couple teams, but you've got to give me it here. Illist and Furious, Blake as well. Blake being the IGL now, it's kind of interesting. Blake and Ron obviously playing together at the start of the season with Okus. Blake stepping away saying, I don't want to play more of an IGL. I don't want to be that leader role. I really want to just focus on eliminations and focus on being the damage dealer in the team. Unfortunately for him though, he is now being backed into a team where he's kind of forced back into that leadership role. It always seems to be kind of thrown on him, but Blake is finding more success in that role than he has in the past. They're coming off a top 5 yesterday, a 5th place overall, but I mean, when you've got the firepower of Illist and Furious, I feel like you've just got to step into that leadership role, because no matter how good you are, there are very few people in the world, or NA East at least, that you can outfrag harder than Furious and Illis. They are both insane. So they win the spawn fight clean. 3v3 straight wipes. They've proven it there.
Yeah, again, and just to touch on that a little bit, it's a different caliber, right? You're talking about an upgrade in the sense of this PvP arsenal. So very interesting to watch them see what they can do this weekend. But Scrubs, again, we talked about firepower, talked about what players can do. This team right here, scary. They're pushing up against Mars, Nexi, and Crumble that land over at the Stronghold. You can see that this entire upper area, even the islands are uncontested, so they have a wide split, a lot of loot to claim here. And naturally, that Pleasant Park team naturally will rotate up. I'm actually surprised not to see the XSET boys rotate into Pleasant Park, but it makes sense, right? We talked about teams want to avoid them, so that's how this weekend's going to end up playing out. They're probably going to have, the way of the land, the way they kind of want it. Another team to look out for, though. This squad that's been really pulling in good top 10s, pretty consistent. KJ, Neon, Meyer here. Trying to get active right now, but a bit of a disadvantage. They gave up the stronghold that they had.
Yeah, they're going up against Al's team, who was talking about dropping Dirty Dogs last week when they made round 4, deciding against it when Reverse 2K Day and Miro were in it, but then seeing maybe this team and thought, hey, we've got a better chance against them. So they're set up on top of them right now, and they've got zone as well. They've got a decent spot of the map. Dirty Dogs does have enough loot where even if you're contested, you can make it out with some loot as long as you close it out quickly, though. They need to win this fight quickly because there's a lot of teams around here who are going to be making some movement who they need to be careful of. So they're stalemating it a little bit. Al's putting some pressure in, Streps in there, Chaotic's in there as well, and I'm loving to see Chaotic find this success recently as well as Strep. I mean, since Chaotic and Nosh have now split up as a team, both teams are doing so much better as the damage comes out on Chaotic. Now the 112 with the green pump. Looks like it's going to be a 2v3 as Neon goes down. These two players trying to disengage, but they're pinned between the 3 players in the Storm. They don't have really far to go. They're going to try and run, but looks like Strep and Al are right on top of them. And I think they're going to have the confidence in a 3v2 to close this out with the gas can to break apart the builds. That is fantastic find from Chaotic to really open this one up.
And normally I'm against these early game fights, but you know what? With how many players are alive in this lobby, this is not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get a lot of Storm Surge tag out of this. They're going to get themselves very comfortable. This is going to play in spades. This play itself out in spades later into the game as things unfold. All they have to do is win this fight. There it is. They get the 3 Elans that they need. Now they get to comfortably bounce back. They have the zone to play off of as well, so no pressure from the Storm line. This is going to help them in the long run. Normally, you don't want to take these early game fights, but when you're at the edge of the map, it might just work out better for them if the game continues to pace like this. Slow.
Yeah, I also noticed that I saw Who Fishy actually go down quite early in the feed, who was a player that is on that Kami split. We talk about that area so much. Very simply put, it's the area on the map that's between Dirty Dogs and pretty much Colossal Crops all the way down to Lazy Lake. So that's the area that this team's usually going to use to find their Storm Surge tags. And that's one of the harder parts coming out of Dirty Dogs is the Storm Surge. You're behind this big mound that gives you so much cover from third parties, but then you have to traverse over the mound early enough to get your tags. As here it is, your pick, Monster. Looks like they didn't have the Misty Meadows fight. Looks like they did potentially, oh no, 1 elimination on the board. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe they got 1 and then that was enough for them and they rotated as Mars is running to Jays, and that's all going on that top side of the map. So I don't know what's going on up there.
Oh, and that's scary. Jays is one of the most notorious on controller, arguably up there put on a pedestal alongside Bizik as 2 of the best to ever come off the console track and do it big, even on here on the PC side now. And take a look at the quick stat. Fastest Trio came up 4 points short of 3rd place last week. That was the stat that we hit on. At the top of this, they were just right there. And we saw that last week. It was a nail biter for all of the teams involved. Even Stretch, Avery, and company, like, they had a remarkable run. Like, if any one of those teams up towards the top 2 dropped the ball, this was their chance, right? They just had it quite literally stolen out of their hands, and they put up a run all the way through to that final game, too, like, placing top 10 as well. So everyone in the top 4 deserved it, but they fought so hard for it. And naturally, there's going to be those heartbreaks, right? This is a team that is coming off of what I would call a heartbreak. No one wants to be the first team out, just on that 4th place spot, and that's where they were. So, you know, for them, it's coming in and proving that they can do it again, but they need to be even better than their remarkable run they had last weekend.
Yeah, there's some teams that have been around there as well. I feel so much for Adam's pick. We have Nobu Beef, Lupium. I mean, their team is just been doing so much. Nick FN as well, the French-Canadian team. They've been so close so many times. It came down to the last game last week, and again, they went down in the mid-game. It was a really aggressive push from Nanolight, who needed to have a big jump up on the leaderboard. They fell because of that, and they didn't even get to those final instances to try and have the big game they needed to. So this format is just leading to these really close, insane kind of battles for the top 3, because there's so much on the line for that top 3 now, and that's going to be the story of today. A lot of the teams here today have already made it through into the semi-finals. They're going to be making it through into the heats, but a few of these teams have a chance to take that top 3 and really jump up. So that's what there's going to be big eyes on here, because I'm looking, I think, about 4 or 5 teams that really need a placement today to hold on to their series points. The rest are playing for that big top 3, so the pressure's on them. So expect these final few games today to get really aggressive. If you're in 20th, there is no point staying in 20th if you're guaranteed to make semis. You're pushing for that top 3.
Yeah, this is a team that's made top 10
you shouldn't be doing that.
So far. They have been so consistent. Users dictating justice. They're up there with Nobu, Nick, Beef, and Lucian. They're as teams that are just, again, playing exceptionally well. weekend after weekend. All they have to do
Is it
is
letting
tie
you
it all up,
spectate?
tie the knot, and push it over. They just need a little bit more. But again, it's these teams.
That's
These
why-
are the ones that you got to
you
look
see
out
my
for.
loot?
These are the ones that have more pressure, if anything.
Oh,
to
legend.
try and pull a top three.
And that was
Like,
how to get it
how much
using
more do you
purple
need to do as far
and
as
gold.
their game plan, their
And you have
strategy? They
enough.
figured it out. It's just about getting it done.
How did
It does come down to DC.
That dude has to be an AI.
These newer squads, right? These are the next up
That
and coming
is
faces.
AI.
Someone in one of these trios is gonna
And
have
they
to
didn't even hit you with the pump.
It's inevitable.
Exactly.
With how
On it.
often we're seeing them breaking through
Tap.
top 10s nowadays.
It's
And watch
an
this infantry
AI.
rifle come into play. We haven't even touched
I'm
on
on
how
any
that
West
really
servers right
changes
now.
with, like,
haven't.
the new additions, right? And this is
my servers?
This is one of them.
Yeah,
I was just
people
going
are
to say,
crashing
bully
my
taking
servers.
down. I think that was
I know,
Scrubs in the feed as well. Someone from FaZe Sway's team, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, we have the addition now of the infantry rifle and the tactical shotgun back into competitive playlists as well as the casual playlist. And it's an interesting one. You see a lot of people running it now for these Storm Surge tags. It does so much damage. It always has that first shot accuracy. When you see it in the hands of players like Mongrel, it just looks like a different beast. It does take a lot of skill, but it's high risk. You have no follow-up, especially with the pump. So if you take that pump shot and you need a bit more damage, never mind, my thought cut off short here. This is an interesting fight now. Scrubs, they didn't take them down, they knocked them, but it wasn't a full elimination. Maybe it was on the back of a bow headshot, something like that. But Scrubs, DC, and Sway are now caught in a situation where they're only 90 above on top of another team. And are they going to get aggressive for their Storm Surge? This is going to tell the story. Are these guys here to play? Are they going to try and focus on go the traditional competitive route? I don't want to say the proper way to play competitive. You can play it however you want. Or are they going to stick to their guns and know that they are a fighting team who can back themselves in big 3v3s? Looks like they're going to disengage for now, but I think as this tournament goes on, if you see them slip off the pace a little bit, expect either a huge go big or go home game for them, because that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And just look, they have
The
the
chest
storm
is
crusher
good.
now. They're sticking behind on the zone line
All
there.
it needs is
Hence all the
spawn.
log
Please don't give
tunneling
me a
and builds
rocket.
they're working their way through, and they need more mats. They kind of burned a lot of their
Rocket
material
launcher.
costs here, and they're on the heels of another team as well. So there is no safe rotate here. Not just yet. Little do they know there is that other squad right up above
Rocket
and more
launcher.
in front of them. Luckily, they are way faster in the zone here, so they can
I
outpace
give
it.
you a rocket
No,
launcher.
there's another team shooting from
That's
behind.
the-
They don't even turn around to block that. They don't care. They're
It's
focused on running
almost
in front of them. They get the tag.
100%
He's gone.
gonna give you a
There,
rocket
he's on the late
launcher.
rotate. We saw
Yeah,
that
there's
bug.
chest.
And they
That's
won
what's so
this
happy in
fight.
the arena.
Against
There's
one
no
another
rocket
here.
launchers.
He's
You
gonna
can't get
do-
those in the arena.
No, he's gonna
I'm
get
happy
with his
about
teammate. I like this.
I think Nexi's a solo. I think that's why they're playing so aggressive. I think they know Nexi's a solo there because they've seen whatever's going on that north side. And there we go, a big bow shot from Scrubs. But unfortunately, DC's getting taken low. And you already touched on it. They're low on material. And this is a big wall they're building. Only 22 builds here total
yeah, they
for Scrubs.
also
They've
have
got to get in.
one.
And that's what scares me most about this team. They have uncontested Pleasant. But we know in these final rounds, these round 4 situations, Storm Surge is everything. And this is a team that doesn't have that same level of, at least on the PC side of things, DC's got that competitive experience on the console. It's going to be Storm Surge. I think that's going to be the issue for them. Finding their surge, they had that really aggressive north push where they pushed Mars, Nexi, and Crumble towards the edge of the map. And because of that, they delayed their rotate. And now Sway is down, Scrubs is down. It's just on DC here. And unfortunately, not such a hot game one out of them. But I hope they can maybe learn from it. Maybe focus the zone rotate a little bit earlier. That's an unfortunate one to see, as Nexi now also still crippled from that early fight. But they've got 5 more games.
didn't even
You
mark
learn.
him.
Now they might know if they need to
Behind
find their
him.
surge. They've
Yeah,
got to
'cause
find
he
it more central and
shot
not go
it
north.
straight
But
up.
this was a pretty difficult first zone for them as well. It is pulling pretty fast out.
What a terrible situation now for Illist and Blake here, who lose out on Furious, and they're sitting right up above the most consistent of that Pam.
Dang, I'm dead.
Again, just all vibing out, sitting in the box. They know.
Oh, you got it.
It's up to Illist and Blake to move first, though. They do have the lead on the road here.
I'm in the kick on Mini. I hate this game so much.
Them as well, so Raptors.
I was trying to take my Mini
focus on the
and
rotate.
he shot
Take
the
advantage.
flare gun.
Pam, Carrie, and Fats go to hit the rotate. They're gonna get in front. They try to recycle some builds. Pam unfortunately gets caught in the river there, gets pushed away from his team. But
let's play
that's
something
gonna work.
close.
Blake and Illis.
I never with a flare gun again. What was that?
I don't like this rotate.
Let's
Oh,
play
that's what I'm gonna
some
say. I'm not gonna
duos.
lie. I'm not a huge fan of this rotate. I think as much as it would have made them follow another team, I think following another team's builds and staying behind that
player
compared to going to
that
the
doesn't
open
do
here.
10
But
damage
I can see
is
what maybe
60.
Blake and Illis are going for. If they get all the way to
If
that
Oya
right
has
side, they
70
swing all the
health,
way
am I
around the
right?
edge towards that dirty dock side, they will be
You-
on a very uncongested side of zone.
Like,
But
if you had
as a duo in
70
the
health,
open, you kind of want to hide that you're at a
you
numbers
still
disadvantage. You're
probably
a solo
would've
or
been
you're a
dead
duo
because
playing trios. You want to stay in the builds. You want to
it's
let no
gonna take
choice
you a
stand
little
out in the open
bit,
so people know
to,
that you're a
make
player
the
down.
edit
But we
out.
definitely they've made that rotate as we're seeing a lot of
What
teams
was
set up in a
that?
far better team spot. We've got Notch's team, we've got Calc's team here set up beautifully as well. We have XMB, another new
Corona.
team on the block set up. So
I knew
the big
that
names are
Corona,
here,
I can't
and as
play
you
with
can
you.
see, that west side of zone is very
I can't play
heavily
with you.
congested.
It's
That's the
restricted
heavy
to
congested
play with
side.
someone
Your
with
team still outside the
coronavirus.
bubble there,
Who
trying
has
to work their
corona?
way in. Now you can see Joji, Calvin,
You.
off. They have the
No, no.
perfect spot here. Look out towards the zone that he's
No, we're hot
Why were you
chocolate.
just
on
coughing?
the outer edge. Doesn't look like that's a
Why were you
trio
just
working their way
coughing?
through, but all those
And just 'cause you
players
cough doesn't mean you have to
fire
everybody.
their way through. On the bottom, you see
Yes.
this big shot.
No.
Blake and Illis, like we said, they kind of split up here. They took their own route.
That's like saying if you was a call play. That's like saying
Luckily, there are a bunch of
if
trees
you play
here
on
that'll block
controller,
the
you
line
play
of
on
sight. The
console.
terrain change now as well might play in their favor. The real question is where
they
does
get
zone go?
zoned.
It favors them, so it plays into their favor.
I
Completely
do not play
eastern.
on
Every
console.
other team
I
is
play
gonna have to make
on
way now.
controller.
This is perfect. The quick bush check from Illis.
I'm
They're not
big.
trying to take any risk.
Yeah,
Instead
I'm
of
big
building,
friends.
actually sit in this. I love this play right now.
I love this play, but I'd like maybe a full metal or full brick base next to it just to let it fully build to get into in case you take the damage. But I do like the bush strategy. I like them sitting here. We saw this utilized a lot by our team that came top 3 last week.
Did you
Stretch,
put
Sap,
the
and
servers
Avery.
on
Here we go.
east?
Blake and Illis.
No.
And Illis, we know he's got the beams, and they put out some good
Think
damage.
about 90
As a duo, you need to get
FPS.
as many storm surge tags as you can, and there
What?
it is.
Why
They've
is
been
my-
spotted in the
my
bush.
ping is
I gotta
fine,
take
but
it
my
back.
FPS
Blake and
is
Illis,
bad
they
or
gambled a
what?
bit there.
Why
They went
is
out
it
in the
like
open. They went to the dead side
It's
of
my
zone. This very
FPS,
uncongested
not my
side, and
ping
it
rate.
played out. Now everyone has to rotate to them. So fair play.
I didn't
Sometimes
button
you gotta
up.
risk it for the biscuit, right?
Nice.
Yeah, hey, this time it just works out that way. Getting half
didn't
in, half
beat
out
Hawk.
can be
I just got
Someday-
I just got
It's virtual, a
If
free
you
game
don't
at this
beat
point.
Hawk,
As other
that
players
means
like
you're not
Joji,
gonna
Calc,
win the game.
and Oscar have to make the rotate on foot. They can get all the way
Chickens
through,
in
and
this
for
house
free.
right
It's
with the
true,
material counter
because
going
every
here.
time I
All
didn't
just
beat
a
Hawk,
little bit of metal, and now you're all
we
the way
lost
in. This is gonna set them
I
up
lost
for
the
big
game.
success right now.
That
Into
was
this
just your
game
luck.
1 game. Already 3 Elans.
I looked at this firefighter.
then when then
I'm done.
I meant not.
I got in by where is your one?
Spot to be in.
He has a scar.
This is
I'm
a
done.
really good
Can you
spot to
wait?
be in, and this is what you want to see.
Hey,
Again,
double
I
team.
think Adam's
How
kind
are
of
you?
started a little bit. He's starting a little bit of the beef, a little
Sorry.
bit of trash talk when it comes to the predictions, you know. He got it first last week. I've been up there as well.
I had
So
to
I
kill
think me and
somebody.
Vivid, especially for Vivid's sake, on the analyst desk,
I
he's going to be
didn't like
liking
the
the
way he
looks
was
of this.
staring
They've
at
got
me.
6 Stinkfish as well. Oz can put out some serious pressure with that, as I see XMB, Creo, and Bully's team lighting up the feed as well. So another big team in this one to look out for. Calc and Creo obviously being ex-teammates, maybe going to clash into each other, and they get a good spot as well. And I like how proactive they are. They are moving quickly. And Calc's player, I've got a lot to talk about. He's been around since day 1, but not
Yeah,
in
I'm
the same
dead.
capacity. I think we haven't seen
feel
any
still.
from.
I don't
I want to
have
see
any-
him mature and develop as much as we've
I
seen
don't
Cal.
have any
I've got to
maps.
shout the dude
I didn't
out. I
either.
really
It's
want to see him
nothing.
have that
I
big
like
moment and
8
prove that he is
and
still
5.
up there as one of the best pros in NAEs.
Baron had
Obviously one of the
0-0.
first ever trio
He just
FNCS World Cup qualifier. Since then though,
I had
I
like
think unrightfully so, his name's
9,
dropped
5,
down a little bit. I
and 8.
want to see him have a big performance as FNCS.
Or something.
Yeah, but if you watch what he can do on a
I did have-
multitasking level, one of the few people that actually
Oh, yeah.
proactively makes content, like this man can have a full conversation and just demolish players in arena. So he's not that far off.
How can
as
you
far
not
as, you know,
play
what
on
he's
both
capable
of
of. I think it's just a matter of
What'd you
time.
say?
As now Calc, the pressure's
There
on
it
him. What does
is.
he have?
How can
He's got
you not
every
play
shot
on
he's gonna connect
Golden
here,
Pros?
and that's the tax shotgun, right?
I play on
Going
custom.
over
I don't know
here
how
now,
y'all play
but
Golden
no, the
Pros.
explosions come through, and he might actually. Get
I mean, I use right
Very
stick to
rare
jump. That's
situation,
probably
but
why.
No, there's 2 players here. It's up to us to leave him.
I use left stick
I
to
have
pull
no
up my
idea how
builds,
this
right
broke
stick
down
to
so
jump,
quickly.
touchpad
We're
to
gassing
edit.
the boy up. We're getting hyped. We're getting excited. And it all breaks down. But that is Fortnite at the end of the day. They've had a
People
decent
say I have
game.
weird
They've
buttons. I
only
use
got
right
21
stick to
points
jump,
on the board.
left
They've got
stick
good
to pull up my
eliminations.
builds,
This
and
is by
touchpad
no
to edit.
means a bad game, especially if Ops can hold on here. Remember, remember, he's got those stink fish. You don't only have to use them aggressively, you
They're
can
the best
eat them, and
ones ever,
unfortunately,
right?
they go down. I think that was actually to your pick, Monster. We got
They're the
Nosh,
worst.
Nut, and Chucky on the high
Yeah, they're
ground.
the
We got
best.
Nick, Nobu, Beef, and I believe Lupian might in there somewhere beneath them, but this This is looking fantastic for
No,
Nosh's team, who's
I'm
on an
gonna
absolute tear,
edit.
coming first yesterday on 205
A
points. They won
slam.
4 of their 8 games yesterday, Monster.
Slam.
They're on an
Slam.
absolute hot streak, and it looks
Slam.
like that's going to
Oh,
continue here in
sharp.
round 4.
That's not
Yeah, they're
hot
bringing it
drop.
on.
No, it's not.
Illis in the feed there.
Yes,
all
it
of the
is.
It's
changes
not even a
Big
POI.
changes in the feed, but
It's
yes,
still a
high ground
hot
right now.
drop.
They have been winning.
POIs are hot
games, and I think
drops.
winning games is what matters most.
You
in
can't
this
even
type
make
of
it
This
format.
is a
On the weekend, you
POI.
want these big
This
places
is a
spots, and
POI.
when there's not other teams
No,
playing for high
it
ground
doesn't
the way
have a
they
mythic
are,
boss.
which again, the more teams
That
that
doesn't
fall
make it-
through, the
what?
more likely this kind of
What's it
play
called?
style
Just
can
because it
be
doesn't
able
make
to
it-
really
mythic
succeed and
boss doesn't
shine,
make it a
right, when it
POI.
comes down to these
A
big
POI
final
has
settings.
a-
And now
has a
look, they're
place
putting
as
pressure
a
on
name.
second height, so showing that hey, they're not just gonna take second height or
That's
take
not
height, they're gonna
huge.
pressure everyone off as well. Except going back to the roof
POI
cell with
isn't the
clarity
place
here.
of a
It's the
ball.
low ground type of
It's the
play
actual-
style.
what
This
is
is
it
the
called?
play style
Place
that's
of a name. Like Risky Reels wasn't a real POI until they
Someone's
actually made it.
stinking my house.
It really has. It's kind of jumped up in notoriety. You take that mobility out of the game, and all of a sudden, high
I'm dead.
plays seem a lot more difficult.
Same.
They're not as reliable. You go to the low ground, but on the low ground, you've got to be able to hit your shots. That is everything, and that's what Shark and Knight are doing here. Clarity G's gone down, the new addition to the team, but Shark and Knight have been playing together as a duo for so long. XMB drops down though. He puts the pressure on, but Shark comes back and backs him up.
He got me
Knight goes down to
pickaxe
XMB. What can Shark do as a solo? He's got a firepower of a loadout. He's got the meds. He
Yes,
doesn't have
shield,
too many builds,
cracked him.
but he needs to hold on the low ground. There are 3 teams, 7 players,
Okay,
so
I
he's
just
up
got
against
this
2
blue.
full trios. Things are not looking good for Shark, but our high ground team is going to maybe try to work their way from the top. Shark's holding this down, but the player comes from behind, and no, it breaks down that quickly. I believe it was our French-Canadian team again in 2nd place, but it's all about Nosh, Nut, and Chucky. They get the Game 1 victory, our Monster.
Yeah, and they wipe up everything that was left, so they picked up a bunch of points there in the final moments there, Ozzy. And again, you said they're carrying the streak. They quite literally are coming off those last victories, picking up the first game here. That's a way to make a statement.
That's big. I mean, 4 wins.
They just killed you out of nowhere.
In round 3, NA East